Welcome to River City Plus, the show after the show, the River City After Party. And today we get to toast something very special. We have CEO of Manifest, David, here to celebrate 8 years of Sips in the River City. That's exciting.
8 years of Sips. I like that. That's a good tagline.
Right. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Free marketing. We'll charge you at the door.
Great.
Charge you at the door. But we're really excited to have you into River City Plus today because we actually get a chance to get to know you better, get to know the brand and what you guys have been bringing to the community. I think we've seen you out and present more than ever, just lending a hand to things like Calvert Ball, the American Cancer Society, like a lot of community events. We had Sound Bath Yoga on the deck of the Orleck. I mean, so many different collaborations where we're starting to see Manifest really be a prominent sponsor, a prominent pillar, and a prominent friend of the community. So what has that journey been like up to now?
Well, I'm glad that you're seeing that. That makes me feel, because sometimes you do this stuff in a vacuum. You don't know if it lands. You don't know if it's hitting. You don't know if people are noticing. So thank you. I'm glad people are
absolutely
noticing. I mean, it's certainly, listen, that community involvement has been a cornerstone for us since we started. One of the reasons we chose downtown, we chose the location that we are in is because almost all of our founders are natives or have been in Jacksonville for a long time, and everybody felt passionate about trying to have a hand or play a part in reinvigorating downtown and the scene downtown. And, 10 years ago was about when we found that building. 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot down there, really. I mean, obviously we had the Jags, we had the venue spaces, but for development, things to do outside of an event, let's say, there wasn't a lot going on. And I think we're a unique business in the sense that we have kind of a retail facing side, but then we also have distribution, which gives us the benefit of being able to kind of survive at times when there's not a lot of foot traffic, which, man, we've done. I mean, 8 years, that's survival. Right.
It's survival. I mean, and especially, in full transparency, what you've gone through in the past year, with the fire, unfortunately, with your neighbor. I mean, really the ramifications of that were challenging when it came to the typical foot traffic you would experience. You guys were buried under scaffolding. So what was it about the community that helped you survive those moments?
Oh, man, that's a great question. It's been, in some ways it feels like 30 years, and some days it feels like a year, right? I mean, I remember day one like it was yesterday, but then I think back to all the things we've been through, the fire, like you mentioned, just the pandemic, which was, game changing for a lot of people. But as a business to survive these types of events, I think community is huge for it. I have to give a lot of credit to the city, to JFRD for the fire, which we constantly praise. They did everything in their power to save our building and the surrounding buildings, and they were able to do that. And that's just one element. I mean, you spoke to earlier the community involvement for us, and really, I think putting back into the community, giving back to the community, trying to be involved in the community is part of the reason that we were able to make it for 8 years, because we become what I would hope is a fixture in that community, right? People get used to us, they get to know our name, we ingratiate ourselves to them. And then they look for us. You go out to a bar, you go out to your favorite liquor store, whatever, you see a cocktail on the menu, it's got us in it. People feel proud about that. And I think Jacksonville is a city, I've lived in a few cities, I lived in a lot of big cities, and Jacksonville has a really unique nature. And this isn't going to sound right, but I've never been in a city that's so proud of itself in the best way possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Listen, if you aren't your number one fan, why would you expect anyone else to be? It's kind of what I say.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So looking back on those 8 years as a business owner, as a creator, as a founder, are there any suggestions you would give to other people who want to get to their 8th year in business, who want to get to their 18th year in business? Anything that you saw along the way that you look back and say, wow, really would I wish I would have seen that coming, really wish I would have understood that better, done that differently? Is there anything that you could share with people who are looking to be where you are in a few years?
I think this goes a little bit back to what you said about community. And for us, again, I was born and raised here in Jacksonville. And so for me, building a really cool brand, doing fun things, doing things that attract people, to come and check us out. Obviously, that was the inspiration for getting started. But the long game for us has always been just survival. I mean, in any business, you win by surviving. You
Right.
win by being around for long enough. And if you're around for long enough, you have enough opportunities that come to you, assuming that, you're responsible and of sound mind.
Right.
Like, you have opportunities that come to you, and things get brought your way, and you have opportunities to survive and to excel. And I'm not going to say that the goal isn't to make money, because of course it's a business and you have
Right.
to keep the lights on, you have to pay your employees.
You're not a nonprofit distillery. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the way that we've been thinking about it is, what is important to us is that we keep people employed, which we did through the pandemic. We create homes for our staff, to come in every day. We treat them well. We treat them with respect, and we do consider our staff family. And it's similar with the community, right? We're investing back in the community through donations or proceeds or whatever it is. And I think those elements really give you a leg up, because it also, not just the action of doing that, but it sets your intention. So your decisions that you make every day, they're kind of run through that filter, and that puts you in a place where you're given an opportunity to stick around.
Yeah, I think you brought up such a great point, and we do have so many community events, so many opportunities to connect and be philanthropic. But like you said, at the end of the day, you are a business, you are employing people, you are making money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes when we talk about money or capital, it sounds a little dirty, but hey, guess what? That's what we all pay our JEA bills with that are sky high right now. Like, that's what we, that's how things work.
Right.
When you're approached by an organization or a community event or something that does want to partner with you in something, that is looking for you to contribute, what is just because I know that we get a lot that I'm like, really wasn't done well. Like, what can people do when they're approaching a business and they've got a great cause that they are passionate about? How can they go about it the right way? Like, what would you love to see as a business owner? What looks like a good ask to you?
Yeah, that's I'm glad you asked that question. I don't think enough people think about that.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, I'm involved personally in some not-for-profit businesses, and usually you have a lot of people that are volunteering their time. And so it's limited bandwidth for people. You're not necessarily always have the ability to be the most organized. But I would say we do get a lot of requests. What I appreciate the most is when we get people that go out of their way to have a relationship with us. So it's people that we've met before, that come down and see us, right? They come, sit at the bar, get to know our people. They're invested in a long-term relationship, and those are the people that we continue to support. What I dislike the most is when we get last-minute requests, right? A lot of people come to us, hey, we've got an event this weekend, or we got an event next week, and we need this, and this. And it's like, number one, never heard from you, don't know you, right? And also, there's no timeline. So we try to book that. We obviously have a budget for that kind of stuff, so we book that stuff out. And typically, the next 60 days is kind of committed for, in terms of donating product or donating time or donating our space. So my big things would be, make sure you give long lead times, and form a relationship with the business.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's frankly nothing tackier than just rolling into a space like with your hand out, especially in times like this where businesses are trying so hard to keep things grassroots, or trying so hard to really take care of their people, really contribute to the community. That door swings both ways. So I think as locals and community members, we need to be mindful of that and be mindful of those business owners. And the fact that you've been able to sustain that. I love the fact that you pointed out, have a budget for that. So if you are, maybe you're a small business owner right now, you're starting your business, it's okay to have a budget for that and say, hey, this is the criteria. My dad ran an insurance business for years. His stipulation was always, great, I'd love to support. Do you have your insurance with us? If it was like, oh, well, no, we've got it, with so-and-so and so-and-so, that's great. I'm sure they would love to contribute.
Right.
And it really gives you as a business owner, I think, peace of mind knowing that like you're making a good and ethical decision, but also, making sure that people understand that like we need to care for each other and care for what we're doing.
Yeah. And on that note, I think people love stories. So, giving people kind of a snapshot of what your involvement with the organization is, right? We all have very passionate stories about our causes that we involve ourselves with. So usually there's some very personal reason that calls us to doing that kind of work, whether it's philanthropic work or volunteer work. So I think relaying that story helps people connect with something, right? There's an emotional pull to it, and I think that would compel someone to be like, oh man, that's an amazing story, or that's such a, there's an emotional involvement to it.
Yeah. So speaking of story, I think we, have to talk about the Manifest story and the fact that you are getting to celebrate 8 years. So how are you celebrating that story and this 8-year anniversary?
No, that's so how do you celebrate 8 years? It's this year, I think maybe because of the fire that happened last year, and we've been through so many kind of major events like that, and so many changes in our business model over time. This year feels nostalgic, maybe the wrong word, but there is like a sense of nostalgia of like, it's kind of like I've found myself being able to kind of sit back and look a little bit objectively at the business for the first time in a long time and go, man, what has it taken for us to get here? What has it taken for us to survive as a business and to thrive as a business? And so, what we decided to do this year for multiple reasons is not celebrate at Manifest. We're actually celebrating at the Naval ship, right down the way, right across the street.
So beyond the Orleck.
Beyond the Orleck. And obviously, Jim, who's been with us for a long time, Jim Webb, he runs
We love Jim.
the naval ship. Everybody knows Jim,
Yeah,
right?
everybody loves Jim.
And so he brought the idea, and he was like, hey, what if we do this? We talked about how we were going to celebrate, and we wanted our staff to be able to come. We wanted our staff to be able to have a good time. So that was the decision of, we're going to close Manifest proper that night. There's a bunch of events going on down there anyways. So it was like, what a perfect time. We're going to shut down. We're going to celebrate our staff. We're going to invite the whole city, and we're going to go out and we're going to party on the pier and on the ship. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to have food trucks out there. We're going to have DJs. We're going to have a little cigar lounge on the pier. We're going to be releasing a new whiskey. We'll have some VIP old-fashioned bars. So we're going to do it up.
So it's going to be a great time. We are actually going to be live from the deck of the Orleck to get a sneak peek at what that whiskey is going to be. There's going to be special cocktails that are going on that night. Again, you can see the entire team from Manifest. So if you want to get to know them, maybe you've never gotten to visit them before, it's a really great space. They're a great team to know. I personally had my birthday party there, and we had a great time. Humble brag, it was the blast, right? I think the Barbie sign is still up in there somewhere.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, so a great time for the community to come out, get to know you, get to celebrate you. And like Rance always says, support your locals people. So do we need to sign up? Do we need to show up? What should we do?
No, I mean, you can. So 9 to 4 Tickets has the link, right? It's September the 28th, which is a Saturday. I hope that's right. Somebody can look at that date. Yeah?
Yes, you're doing great.
So September 28th is a Saturday.
There. David might be on the wrong day, but we'll be there.
But you can go to any of our social feeds. The post is up there. You can go to 904 Tickets. You can RSVP for a free general admission ticket. You don't have to. You can just show up too. But if you do want a VIP ticket, VIP ticket gets you access to the ship. And that's where there's a dedicated bar. We have some like light charcuterie available with that ticket. And then you also get a bottle of one of these whiskeys, which is what we're releasing.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So you want to make sure you grab that free ticket? I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, grab the free ticket.
Yeah,
right? Why not? Because then it lets us know you're coming, right?
Yeah.
And then, but then if you want to do the upgrade and get on the ship, treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Listen, you got the River City Live motto down. You're welcome back anytime. David, thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll see you aboard the Orleck to celebrate a local business with 8 years of bringing joy and drinks to the 904. See you tomorrow.